Good morning, Zanzibar. That's what I tell my dog, Zanzi. It's Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk. This is just a quick check. Yesterday I had a lot of internet choppiness. So my first day of February, hashtag fasting, was on a Zoom by myself to myself. And that's all right because we got the tape measure out. We got some really good data on where the body is. And we really went into the way my mind works. My mind was definitely off its own rhythm yesterday. I think in some ways it was about everything. Sometimes in the world we've built with a human civilization that is so inhumane, we constrain human energy in every which way. Why would we do that? There is no civilization out there. Capitalism is not inherently a part of the earth. A bunch of really greedy motherfuckers created capitalism. They couldn't have actually foreseen, to be truthful, the long-term consequences of the system they built. Same with privileged democracy. Same with the concepts of government and law. Our concept of money built on scarcity. Well, the concept of money when it originated, and humans have been bartering and exchanging all along in some way, shape, or form. But, since I am here in the US of hypocrisy, let's take the image of living in the Seattle area. It's a robust civilization of tribes, just an incredible assortment of tribes. And the currency of exchange would have been shells. For example, we're just going to take shells. Now, this is a thing that, signified human life force. And it would have been exchanged not for the one little curly curl just popping out of its own accord. You see, life, even hair, has minds of its own. And we've built a civilization where we're telling every mind, even plants, you can't grow like that. We don't want you to grow in an integrated ecosystem. We're just going to monoculture your asses all together. Just be the same. Just be the same. This is what we do to plants. This is what we do to humans. What we do to all life. Say, oh, we like this about you. We want you to do nothing else but this forever, ever, 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 ever. And you decrease the life force. You quite literally constrain the soul, even of a plant, when instead of working in biodynamic harmony in an ecosystem, you just plant millions of acres after millions of acres of corn or soy. The US is a desert, right? And I don't keep facts and figures very well in my brain. I'm much too creative, but I keep the gist of trends and percentages. And if you were to really assess the United States of hypocrisy, we are such a desert. Now, in the Western states, we really are aware of this. The inner eastern sides of Washington, Oregon, California are all desert. I mean, that's where Death Valley is, right? Same up here in Washington State. just like lunar looking some of the landscapes. That's how deserty they may be. And you know Nevada, and you know California is just all Chile sized. And Oregon and Washington are basically top up from Nevada. Right in. You come from the coast, you get a coastal mountain range, it's all lush, and then things go quickly into lunar Marscapes. It's a pretty profound thing I said, though, about making plants do the same thing over and over again. Is very much like the way we chain humans to cubicle captivity. To tiny little hard-ass desks, we chain our 6-year-olds and say, memorize, memorize, memorize. And still, the curl of life wants to do its own thing, go its own way. So, we got a good day ahead of us. One of the main lessons about fasting, using evolutionary logic, using the intellectual property of #wellbeing philosophy, is it's not the schedule, stupid, it's the science. If anyone's trying to sell you a schedule, they have not popped their fasting cherry into supra creativity, into trance. What fasting can do for you is this. Fasting can make you creative. Fasting can give you fast talking, faster processing. What it actually does is open up the black box that even the experts about subconscious believe it is. And me and my subconscious play every day. My subconscious comes out and we have a grand old talk about homeodynamic balance, how humans work. Fasting is not something you do on a schedule. Now, I'm setting out to do fasting February, 28 days of fasting, because my previous was 18. I have a great deal of body fat, just ready, just going, can we please burn this off? So that's what we're here attempting to do. So when you're trying to go for 4 weeks of fasting, you need to approach it using both your own lived experience, the skills of philosophically assessing the science, and go, you gotta call audibles every day. You have to have the freedom to not just give in to a craving because some commercial comes on the TV. And that's fasting. I'm not letting any external influence get in your mind and change your strategy for whatever it is you're trying to fix. Fasting is incredibly good for detox. I mean, this is precisely why I want to go so long, is to just keep going and going and going. Eddie Izzard just ran 32 marathons in 31 days in January 2021. And I'm following that. I'm not quite as physically or mentally fit as Eddie Izzard. I was 333 pounds, suffering from a toxic mold exposure that basically took away my capacity to walk and talk. So while I'm certain I can do it, I also need to be mindful of ramping up. So Eddie was running like marathons every other week to make sure she was ready for this. And when it comes to this whole overarching homeodynamic balance equation, fasting requires your full attention. It's like running a marathon. If you've got a support team, I don't have a support team. So my support team is calling an audible and saying, today, probably 2.5, 3 hours, I'm going to just go on a 5-mile walk. This will be my 5th one. So no real worries about that. But prior to the first one, which was in November, that 5-mile walk was the first walk I had done this millennium. 20 years. No walking of any substantive length or rhythm or routine without a dog. My dog loves to smell every blade of grass. We really don't walk. We smell. We travel at the speed of smelling and scavenging rabbit pellets and other yummies. So what I really want to talk about is I can do 28 days by sort of ramping up February 1st and 2nd and finishing my 28 days on March 1st and 2nd. Of course you can. You can do anything your body instructs you to do. Your body is the truth. And I had really needed, I hadn't celebrated any holidays. So I celebrated learning how to be a stand-up truth teller from Eddie Izzard for a month. What practice. Last Wednesday, I had an opportunity. A friend offered to take me to the store. So I had a little celebration, and my body's processing some of that chemical food. This is comfort food. It's the middle of winter. And this is an important point that you really just can't think forever and ever more. And if you hit a point where you're really struggling, and for many years, in my case, 5 decades, your go-to method of treating yourself is eating your treating. As long as you're eating your treating, give it a go. It's all right. But don't make treating your actual daily schedule. So what I know, and I had some gluten, and it takes 5 days to come out of your body. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so today I can go and do my 5 miles. A 5-mile walk at my own very slow pace. It was actually, I did some shopping in the midst. I go to my local store. But I was basically like 2.5 miles an hour pace. But that first time, the way my body felt in that repetitive motion of walking at my own pace, and it has this is the up and down. This was not a flat walk. I had to walk along a major highway through my island. The stench of the exhaust. I don't know how y'all don't notice how bad that makes you feel. But the stiffness and when I got home, and I mean, it was nearly impossible to walk down the one flight of stairs that I have to get around to my basement entrance. Repetitive exercising, what we think of as exercising, getting on a treadmill, is incredibly stressful for your body. Whereas 2 hours of full-on ecstatic trance dancing, completely entranced. Being entranced is an altered state of consciousness. It is not something that requires drugs. It is not something that requires exertion. Stephen Kotler, his work focuses on like the Navy SEALs and the extreme sport exertion levels to get into flow. Altered state of consciousness is flow state. Flow state is about creativity. It's about turning off your sense of time. And this is what I'm doing right here. This is supposed to be a quick update, but I'm not experiencing the choppiness in looking at myself. So I think this is a pretty good internet connection. And we're talking at length about the full-on processing of how my body-mind communicates about whether we should fast, shouldn't fast. We got this goal. We can make this goal. We can alter this goal. Fasting February is 28 days of fasting, but you can ramp up on the first 2 days. So I had about a 5 p.m. snack meal, which was this lovely, delicious concoction I have of a can of tomatoes, the really good New York Glen kind with the chiles, and a can of mixed beans, 3 beans, those 2 cans, with a lot of lime and salt and seasonings, garlic and oregano and such and so forth. Not many calories there. A spearmint tea, 2 single serving 1.5 ounce bags of potato chips, my brown bag kettle chips, and then a small espresso glass, about half full of dried cherries. So I had some, still wasn't in the full-on fasting initiation, so I can go and do my 5-mile walk because it is the only way I will get more heavy cream in the house. So that's the goal for today, is to walk 5 miles and get 5 pints of cream. 2, 5, 5. That's it. There's a good fasting schedule for Yaz. We're just reviewing, was there anything I didn't tell you? Trusting your body, making sure that even as you're in the middle of a long-term fast, if you need to ask your body to do something extraordinary, in my case, this is my 5th walk of this millennium for 5 miles each. I don't want to be in the place where I'm switching over from glucose, the whole Krebs cycle, into burning almost only fatty acids from my body, minus my nut and raw cacao breakfasting. See, I'm just sitting here waiting to be stirred. The multitasking, the brain is picking up speed, it's picking up complexity of processing. Neurodiversity, as I like to do. I mean, everything you ever need to know about my theory of everything is putting bio dash in front of electricity. Now, whether you can make all those leaps of logic and how long it will take for you to get in the rhythm, but I have got this language of bioelectricity down. In fact, what I'm going to do, why I'm sort of waiting, is I'm going to enjoy my raw cacao mousse and pecans. I'm listening to Eileen Day McCusick, the woman who taught me her cosmology that she needed to put together to go out in the world as a proponent of the tuning forks for human health. And I've used the tuning forks to optimize my brain and body. These are my Philosophus tools. Everything is frequency, bio-electricity. putting real precision into my words. I'm certain that mental illness would be better defined as enviro-mental illness. Something in the environment is occupying your brain to such an extent that cubicle captivity or K through 12 captivity, come up with a kitty captivity in the K through 12 standardized way. It's the standardization, y'all. It's the everything is the same. So this is going straight to anti-racism. That's Ibram X. Kendi. But he had such an important point, did he not? If we can't understand skin correctly, the hell chance do we have of solving climate change or even a pandemic, even this tiny little virus? Biology. We all have essentially similar bodies. Now, as we experience life, what we do with them, the way we utilize them, the amount of exercise, what we eat, how we think, the bodies then spread out. But essentially, the equipment has a real standard sort of operating procedure. And being Black is standard. Okay? There is nothing inherently different biologically. There are things that are different that come into play culturally. Some of the things that we know to be true, they're very much a cultural influence. Nurture over nature in all ways, shapes, and forms. Epigenetics is the science we're talking about. And you can put a little dash in there, even though they mostly don't. I'm a human who's demonstrated to you that neurodiversity should actually be called neuro-complexity. I can fit into any diagnoses you want to give me, but I'd not be able to be diagnosed by any actual clinician for any one thing. I don't tip over in any one particular arena, but I'm right there solidly 1/3 identify with just about everything. Throw in Parkinson's. Obesity is a Parkinsonism. And when you disrupt that, when you put those two together and you ask, how is Parkinson's and obesity the same? Bioelectricity. Parkinson's is a neurological disease. It is apparently the brain not being able to get the body to move. So they street drug your ass. It's pharma quality dopamine, but there's just an immense parallel between taking cocaine or heroin and what that does to the activity of your body. But we also have to contend with the fact that using that sort of level of drug stimulus to create movement and motion in the human body creates a real crisis in the limbic brain, in other parts of the brain that are having to process all of this intense stimulus in a way that our society doesn't allow. And trying to keep it's like your foot has to keep pressing the pedal, but you're in neutral. My own life and times of 333 pounds and a Michelin woman body, polar bear. It has everything to do with the fact of my mental capacity, because I never pruned the neurons of homeodynamic balance. So I have this lovely chat with my subconscious all the time. What's going on? How do I have to prepare for 28 days of fasting? Well, you're going to need to go for a 5-mile walk, and we need to have the nutritional ramp to do that appropriately. And then we can start pulling into the 23-46 fasting routine. Can I do 28 days or can I not do 28 days? As a question. It is really a challenge. It's something that I'm certain won't kill me. It is something I'm certain will make me feel like I might want to choose to eat. So I can fool myself that that'll keep me from dying. That was a lovely, well-played snippet. That was stream of consciousness. That was processing my childhood, early, like infancy, messages about feeling like I was going to die from some external stimulus, probably too much heat or just the smoky smell. My dad loved a fire in the house. And I was never having that. I was always not reacting well to the stimulus of smoke. And smoke represents excess carbon in our near environment. And we have signals of hunger and thirst. That's what we're kind of talking about here. Hunger. Here's the food. I'm much too happy talking to your ass. Talking to my own ass. Because I don't know who you are. And I only think it's the one. It's always the one. And occasionally I get it too. I occasionally too, some actual real person seems to show up, although it might be another bot. I don't know. But do you see how I let go of all of that emotional activity and just went into like random chatty mode? I said it. I said that I was wired from my infancy to live a life that when I felt like I was dying, which is far more than normal because I'm a highly sensitive person, and I never pruned the neurons of a very young or a very ancestrally mammalian feeling that to be safe, I must be eating. This comes from when I was in love with a man with Parkinson's, and we were working on understanding and outthinking Parkinson's, which I have ultimately done. And he had Parkinson's, so he has not. Although he could, really could. If I could, we could work together now. I'm much more certain. You know, he was addicted to the dopamine. It was a drug addiction. And it was a physiological compulsion that meant his brain couldn't wire and fire into the novel stimulus of love. When in that brand new relationship state, that feeling of love overpowered the drug addiction, the need for dopamine for movement, all of that stuff, very successfully. But as the time went on and as he thought he figured it out to be exercise, repetitive exercise, just Eddie Izzarding his body. We all have that kind of capacity. Like it's really in there to marathon every day. Our minds get in the way. Our conditioning is a real scenario that you have to be aware of, you know, because Eddie was not just a couch potato. He really has been preparing and doing this. It was 11 months. Last February, he did real marathons in 27. Yeah, I think he got shut down from COVID. Pretty sure it was 27, and of course it would have been 28. Yeah, I don't know. That didn't come up. So we've been taught by our society to feel awkward or even ashamed when our brain just goes. And it's not so much I really needed to know the truth. Remember, I want to, honor whether Eddie did 27 or 28 or whatever correctly as I can. But the facts of it all isn't really important. And my brain was trying to go somewhere else. My brain was trying to stay in artistic flow. And that pause was when the analytical, play by the rules, get the numbers right, you're memorizing facts is job one. That part of the brain is what stopped my creative flow. I'm giving it all to you right here, right now. Your quirks, your challenges, the things you can't fix about yourself that you want to fix, your habits, your routines, your patterns. You're not in control of them. You do not have free will in that domain. Because you are physiologically scared. That might be way below your actual conscious processing. You may be having the same reactions I have to exhaust fumes, but you never connected that two together. The reason you have so much road rage is your body feels like you're asphyxiating in that little sardine car of yours, all that excess carbon in that atmosphere. So, human civilization's inhumane. We're trying to force people and punish people, enslave people, imprison people to do better, to do what society wants, okay, to be the same as everybody else. The reason people can't be the same as everyone else is because our nervous system, our fear is being triggered in so many ways. And then you got the smells of the dryer sheets, and you got the colognes and the perfumes of all these random people, and then you've got like the toner smell. Oh, that did me, and human health is complex. And you got to be able to be like me and hold together so many pieces of information. So, I know this is a one-woman Socratic monologue. I know this is not some quick-ass little internet soundbite. But this is the work. This is the work, y'all. None of the life coaches is right. At the why level. At the fifth why, you're either in fear or love. If you're in love, if your bioelectricity is flowing in the love sense, the world is your oyster. It's literally, then you would want to consult a life coach and get some steps and do your drills and make sure you're practicing for your, 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours, whatever you want to do. But if you're in fear, you can't be, you're not life coach ready. You're well-being philosopher ready. You've got, forget about this face the fear, do it anyway crap as well. Face the resistance, face the obstacle of a craving for pizza because you watched a TV commercial. But your physiological fear, the way that your actual nervous system is working, you've got to understand what your body needs you to understand about its pain, about its trauma, about its fear, about the fact that it's just processing too many things, right? So here's again, these words fear, and they bring in like horror movie, and trauma. There's a whole domain right next to trauma is neglect. Just like we're all action movie peoples. We love to fight or flight. But far more people are in freeze. And freeze is tied to neglect. It's tied to you literally don't have the capacity to wire circuits, to do the movements, to conceive of the strategies, whatever it is you can or cannot do. This is this thing about this 28-day fast and balancing it and what is it all about? I'm dead fucking broke. And I want to know what it feels like to be lean. I'm ready. I'm ready. And having my lean arm is going to bring abundance into my life. So this is how you transmute the fear of being utterly alone in the world without any money. During a pandemic when nobody's giving you the time of day. Metaphors, analogies, it's all, we're ignoring the truth of things, even as we say it. And then we're giving our power away to pills and protein powders and supplements. Oh my! It's been a lovely performance for you. It is coming up on 8. Sort of really hitting my 24 hours. Although I did have a dinner for my breakfast. And I want to listen to Eileen over on, she's talking about her new book, Body Electric Health. I should officially, because I think you want to get this book. Electric Body, Electric Health. www.electrichealth.com. There's the book from my dear, dear mentor, Eileen. Harmony, y'all. Because she's still, so here we go. 39 minutes into this, Eileen is still reading the intro to her book, saying we're beings of light. You're beings of sound. We're truly beings of vibration. I mean, again, sound and vibration are the same. Light is a kind of vibration. The human body, human organs just don't transduce light. We don't create light. We are light. Light flows through us. I'll give you some. We don't create light in the way we create sound, language, voice, singing. The Grand Canyon between you and your sincerest dream and goal is it has to come out of your voice. And so that's the truth. And it's all on you. And you are in charge. And your voice has got your voice, you got the voice. You got to be a voicer. And other people got to be able to hear yes. It's a circuit. So many of us in our human civilization, nearly everything is blaming the individual, when it is the fact that society is not listening. Civilization is not listening. Civilization is going, no, we're going to punish you. We're going to punish you. No, you got to spend 57 hours filling out this application, paying for this transcript and this certificate. It's like, but I needed money. And you're going to make me go through all this. Or I needed to learn. Or I needed some information on fasting. Well, here's how Deb roll on the YouTube. So yeah, it's lovely when your mentor is somebody who you can envision having a world evolving conversation with. And just simply, it's just her blind spot. Beings of light. Both literally, so much of what we're getting wrong is we want to seeing is believing, and maybe some people with synesthesia, but most of us cannot see sound. We hear sound. And we're in a period of human civilization in the evolution of our species when nobody's listening to anybody else at all. We're arguing and saying no and disputing and either oring and insurrectioning. And you sit them right down, and these motherfuckers don't seem to have any idea what they were doing, why they were doing it, like how it was out of the extraordinarily, like doing the action that you're constantly saying you're trying to protect the country from other people doing that action. It's like literally mass hysteria. January 6th. Led by testosterone. Hysteria into testosterone hysteria. I'm gonna work on that word. See this. This is what tuning forks give a body. Optimizing your bioelectrical conductivity, your mind and your body. What I have here is, I call it elder savanting. Idiot savant is what you may be familiar with. Rain womaning in Seattle. Straight off the coast of Seattle, I'm rain womaning. Savant syndrome, which is how they got rid of the horribly named idiot part of the savant syndrome, is about having some extraordinary capability, but I call access to your memory banks. The only riches you'll ever have. It doesn't matter how quotidian, how just like, this is just like me diarying. How is diarying? Again, I didn't mean to do it, but there's another again when the left brain shattered the right brain. That left brain needed certainty. That left brain was like, how does it work? Like if I'm sitting in my school with my teacher, how do I explain this? This is a stage and a performance. Them teachers never gave me like turn 50 to be able to just go, I'm taking my own stage by storm. # redheaded She-Hulk. Harmony, y'all. Harmony, y'all. Harmony, y'all.